Okay, so here's a few mods that you can make as you get more used to the chords. This is the first one is "I Can Help" by Charlie Crockett, and there's some, you're kind of looking into your future here when you see this, because at first most of your ukulele and guitar chord charts are the same way. You're seeing them as blocks, independent of the chords coming before and after. And as you build experience, you will start to see these chords as blending into one another. And one of the ways you might see this is that first, that G chord and that E minor. And that is probably the way you should learn it first. But there's another way you could look at these, and eventually you start to look at them as chords that flow into other chords with fewer movements. So this is one place you're going to see that. G, E minor, sure. But what about this? What about G, E minor, G, E minor? Same chord change, but the thing to remember, and it's really important, is that G and E minor are relative to each other. E minor is the relative minor to G. G is the relative major to E minor, and because of that, they share two of the same notes. The G chord has these two notes, as does the E minor. And that is if you're doing the voicing of the G, open, second, third fret, second fret that way, and you're doing open, fourth, third, second right there. So open, second, third, second, open, fourth, third, second for the E minor. That's one way to do that. The other thing you could do with these is you could play that G chord like this. You can play that's the fourth fret, second fret, third fret, second fret. So that's one thing that you could do, that G chord and that E minor chord right there. A couple other things. And then when you get further into it, you're already playing your D chord like this. If you're already doing your D chord like this, you might or might not be muting that first string. But there's your D chord, G chord. So as you move into these bar chords, and don't be in a rush, but when you start to get your pressure evened out, your fingers start to build a little bit of independence. As they build independence, they're going to be moving without all of that effort from the rest of your hand. That finger's going to be moving by itself. These fingers are going to be moving by itself, and that's going to help your overall tension level. Because when you add that pinky, you're not squeezing everything else down to get to that. And overall, these things, this is a part of moving forward out of those first open chords that we all end up doing when we first start. You got that one in there too. So that's another way to look at that chord change.